This episode of IGN Conversations is brought to you by Gran Turismo 6, available December 6th.
Hey guys, Eric and Chris here. Talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It aired its 10th episode this week, so just shy of halfway through, but it was the mid-season cliffhanger. So we've seen our fair amount of S.H.I.E.L.D. at this point.
Right.
10 episodes in. This was obviously a series with so much anticipation and hype. What are you feeling now, Chris?
I feel like now there are people who hate this show, right? There are people who are like, I've written it off. It doesn't belong. You know, it's not great. It's not great, but it's not bad either. Like, I feel like my overwhelming sense of S.H.I.E.L.D. at this point is it's really same across the board. Like, I haven't seen a standout episode. I haven't seen an episode that I really, really hated. But, you know, with some of my favorite television shows, it's like, well, you've got Breaking Bad at the high end, which, like, it never did any wrong. But then things like American Horror Story, there can be, like, a really amazing episode and then something that I really, really hate, but it keeps the passion going. Here, I'm just a little bit more like, meh.
Yeah, I feel like this show, I do think the hate for it online is over the top, but I think it comes from disappointment and the fact that we just want it to be great, right? And it's not great. It's not terrible. It's okay. It can be a fun show. It can be an entertaining show, but we don't want it to just be okay. You know, we want it to be appointment television.
And I want it to be Marvel. You know, I want it to feel like a Marvel show. And I think one of the things they can do going forward, and hopefully, I think they're probably taking this note from everybody, one of the things that I think they could really do going forward is weave the Marvel universe into it a little bit more.
Yeah.
We get a lot of references to the movies, a lot of Avengers, a lot of that sort of thing. But, you know, there are thousands and thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of characters who have been utilized in the Marvel universe. Now, let's take some of those guys off the edges that probably are never going to get the spotlight and throw them in this show. Get them involved in the canon. You know, they've proven with things like Iron Man 2, they can recast roles even as big as War Machine. So if that's what they're worried about, they don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, it's like even on this past week's episode where we got to know a little bit more about Centipede, it's like, here's Edison Poe. I'm like, why is it Edison Poe, someone who's not anyone from the comics? Make it, you know, I don't care, the Fixer. Make it, you know, make it Stiltman. You know, I don't. There's so many characters. Like you said, it's so deep, the Marvel universe, that you could pick someone out there, and it would help sort of make this feel a little bigger and more important, just weaving it in that way.
Yeah, yeah. And what's there? I mean, everything just feels a little generic. You know, like I feel like they almost have to push it more towards the movies. You know, like don't wink at the suits. Let's get some people in actual costumes out there, so it doesn't seem like there's this huge disparate, you know, place between the worlds.
Yeah, and you know, the main characters. It is weird that, you know, one thing that I've kind of been critical of is too many secrets, and that's not to say I don't like mysterious stuff and things that they can pay off later. But with these characters, all of whom except Coulson we never knew before, they all started as a blank slate and unfortunately have stayed pretty similar.
Yeah.
And too many of them have mysterious backgrounds where we don't have enough to care about them right now. If we're going to care about Skye's mysterious background, we have to care about Skye in the present.
Herself,
you know?
yeah. Well, and here's the thing. It breaks down like this. Skye and Coulson both don't know key things about themselves, right?
Yeah.
And the other characters are, you know, the green characters. There's Fitz and Simmons and Skye. They're kind of all there, like, with the sort of, I'm a newbie. And then I just feel like there's all these little delineations of characters that fit into molds. We don't need them. We need one maybe character who fits in each box. We don't need two of a set, you know, like Ming-Na's character and Ward.
Yeah.
They're both like same.
Yeah, I mean,
stoic.
They are, yeah. They're definitely the stoic, sort of gets the job done character.
Yeah.
I do like I like Melinda May, and I actually think Ward is fine. Some people didn't like that character, and I actually think their relationship is kind of one of the more interesting. Like, okay, you're going a little curveball from what I expected there.
Right.
But even there, it's like, if you're going to have Ward have, like, I had things in the past that affected me and my brother, and then you do the flashback episode for him, just show us that entire flashback. That's not saying you're not filling in his entire past. There's still more to learn. But even there, they're like, we're going to show you some of the flashback. And Melinda May, we're going to have the episode where Coulson says, here's what happened, but I don't know the whole story.
Yeah, I think they need to learn the lesson that a lot of other shows have learned, which is like, make a lot of stuff happen in every episode. You know, you don't have to hold all your cards out and then play one at a time really slowly. You know, it's like, just if events happen, let them happen. Let the characters like have a lot of stuff going on in their lives. Get them off the plane.
Get them off the plane. Like, that's a big question I have is, what is their lives? Yeah. Like, as far as we know, they spend 7 days a week on this plane.
That plane would smell so bad.
The plane has got to be rank, eh? But yeah, like, what is their lives? You know, what brought them here? It's weird because I think with Joss Whedon shows, we're very used to, like, loving the characters very quickly, and Firefly had a very similar dynamic as far as a bunch of people in an enclosed space traveling together, but so quickly you kind of believed in these as like fully formed people, and whether they had a mysterious past or not, and a couple of them did, it was like, okay, I know who you are and I can get you and I'm emotionally invested in you, and this show has kept people at a distance for some reason.
Yeah. The one character I really sort of do buy into is Coulson. It's partially because he's been in the movies and so forth, and I actually care about what is missing from his life, you know, like whatever that secret is, I care about it. The rest of it, I'm kind of like, I don't really care what this guy's parents are up to, honestly.
Yeah, and I want to care. I want to care. And it's like, I know the show is going for that mix of procedural and serialization, and I think you can do that. I don't think every single episode has to be like plot, plot, plot. There can be some case of the week, but again, we want to be caring about the people who are on that case at that time, you know?
Well, every episode should move something forward.
Yeah.
You know, either you're going to move a character forward and have them slightly change or learn something, or you're going to move the plot forward. I thought, you know, a good show to sort of compare it to in terms of the way it could handle it is Fringe, or, you know, dating back further, X-Files. You know, it's kind of like that sort of show where you're dealing with like one phenomenon a week. So do it like those shows do it. You know, move the story forward. You can have more sort of mythology episodes, and then you can do case of the week. And that's where also I think you can bring in like special villains and stuff like that.
Right.
Cases of the week.
That's where you can bring in Paste Pot Pete if you want, you know.
Exactly. Mole Man.
Yeah, Mole Man. There's so many places to go. Where's my stilt man? You know, wrapping up here, but you know, obviously we're 10 episodes in. We know we're getting at least 12 more this season. So do you think, you know, this is something they can fix pretty easily, or these are major problems? How do you feel about it?
Well, I guess production-wise, I don't know how far ahead they are, but I think they probably heard some of the initial commentary, and I think early on people were like, you hear the problems. Right. You know, and I think these are the same things people have been voicing since the show aired. I do think they can change course. You know, I do think this show can grow. They definitely have a wealth of resources. You know, they definitely have a good foundation to start from, and I think. Actually, you know, you were mentioning Ward. I think he's a character that's grown on me a little bit.
Yeah.
I think they can turn Skye around if they kind of put her past in her past.
Right.
And I realize what they're doing, because you can't have everybody who's like, I'm fully settled now, and you know, like now I have no reason to dig into anything. But yeah, I think they can get it on track. I think it's going to take, you know, 6 more episodes.
Yeah, I think we were both disappointed, and a lot of people were, that this cliffhanger episode didn't go bigger, because I think, you know, we thought this is their first of a 2-parter. They're going to start like really pushing and giving us some of those references, moving some of the characters forward, and it really didn't. But hopefully, where we are now, you know,
well, when Moon Knight comes in, we're set.
When Moon Knight comes in, when Mark Spector comes in, everyone's set. Fist of Canushu. So that's what we think about S.H.I.E.L.D. right now. I agree with you, by the way. I think, you know, there's still plenty of room to right this ship, and it's an okay show, but we want it to be a great show. Let us know what you think in the comments, and we'll be back with more S.H.I.E.L.D. coverage here at IGN.